So, lads, people don't realize this, but Kristy Wallace is still a Fever player. And she's actually somebody that could be an asset to the team. And I understand a lot of people are like, oh, Kristy Wallace is terrible, this and that. And I'm like, I don't think she's that good. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Kristy Wallace is that good. However, she's back playing in the Australian NBL league. So she's playing in, is it NBL? But whatever league that she's playing in right now. Sorry, she's playing the New Zealand league. She's playing in a league right now. And by the way, she had 24 points in a game against, when was it? 17th? She had 24 points in a game last week. However, last season, she didn't play. As far as I'm aware, she didn't play in a season during the offseason and then played in Australia during the WNBA season. Kristy Wallace is back playing. As you can see right here, she just ended Bree Hall's career. Like, Bree Hall, just got her career ended by Kristy Wallace. And also, Bree Hall is a player that the Fever had on their playoff roster. I still cannot believe the Indiana Fever chose to not put in a 12th player rather than just have Caitlin Clark on the roster. But she just ended Bree Hall's career. Like, I've never seen an ankle breaker. She just dropped. She just dropped to the ground. It was like she got shot. Like, the fact that she didn't get injured off that play is mad. But Kristy Wallace goes and hits the mid-range shot. Kristy Wallace is probably back with the Fever next year. Wally crossing up Bree. We're ready to reactivate your contract. Like, you do realize that Kristy Wallace decides when her contract gets reactivated. She's actually a free agent now. No, she's not. She's got one more year. She did not come over for that season. She's got one more year. And by the way, her final year is on an $80,000 a year contract. Like, people don't understand how cheap Kristy Wallace is. Like, Kristy Wallace, if let's just say the vet minimum goes up to $300K and the rookies go up to $250K, she's on $80K a year. You're not going to find that many better players on 80. Like, you can't find a free agent for less than $300K that will do a comparable thing to Kristy Wallace. Kristy Wallace was not that bad. Like, should she have been a starter? No. She was a terrible starter. She was an absolutely terrible starter, and we're not going to pretend that she was any good at that when she was a starter. But as you can see right here, Kristy Wallace, the year before, she averaged 6.6 points per game off the bench and shot 43% from three. Yes, she shot 29% from three. But let's not forget what happened in her last game. She had 17 points in basically a half against Washington. She had some games. She had 10 in the big win against the Chicago Sky, and that was the game that really started their season. She had a couple of decent games. Again, 4 of 8 against the Sky, hit 2 3-point shots. Yes, she was very bad at making open layups. Yes, she blew a lot of... Even in this game, she was the one who faked the alley-oop shot and then missed. She was wide open for a layup and double clutched, pretended to alley-oop it in, and then just decided to throw the layup and panicked and missed it. Like, I'm not out here saying Kristy Wallace is going to be a game changer or anything, but what I'm saying is Kristy Wallace very well could make the Fever team next year and could improve this team. When you've got her under contract, as well as that, Kristy Wallace might be expansion team bait as well. Kristy Wallace might be expansion team bait. Like, an expansion team may genuinely take her. Because, let's be real, the Indiana Fever are going to... Like, these contracts are gold dust. These contracts are absolute gold dust. These rookie deals. These 80,000 contracts in the new CBA. Kristy Wallace being on one of these means there's a good chance she gets taken in the expansion draft. Like, if they don't protect Michaela Timpson, they're dumbasses because they literally have to core an unrestricted free agent. And the only players that, like, they have to protect. And people, like, fans are literally sitting there, like, they should protect Natasha Howard. Natasha Howard's ineligible. She's literally ineligible for the expansion draft. Like, let's be real. If they don't want to give Sophie Cunningham the Supermax and we don't protect Sophie Cunningham just comes back to the Fever, or Sophie Cunningham gets drafted by Toronto in the expansion draft. And then the Fever are like, well, Toronto are like, yeah, we're not giving you a Supermax. Fever are like, yeah, you're coming back, yeah? And Sophie's like, yeah, I'll go back to the Fever. Like, people didn't understand, like, there was a world where the Fever could have gotten Temi back. There was actually a world where the Fever could have got Temi back last year. It is, it's genuinely one of those things where I'm like, you've got this weird expansion draft where everyone's an unrestricted free agent. And, like, we could honestly see teams drafting. We could see the Tempo or the Fire drafting, like, 2 players. Like, you're going to take someone from the Mystics. I don't know who else you're going to... What are the teams? Like, there are teams that don't have enough players. Because you can't go out there and, like, you can't go out there and just take a bunch of unrestricted free agents because they're not going to sign for you. So there's teams that don't have enough players. There's teams that don't have enough players, I tell you. They don't have enough players. But, yeah, it's a crazy one. It's just all around a crazy situation. And if nothing else, Kristy Wallace is going to be expansion bait. She's either going to be trade bait or expansion bait. If not, a really good end of bench player for a team that is looking to compete for a championship. And I don't mind. End of bench players are hard to find. Especially end of bench players on cost-effective contracts. Because, or on the, the protected rookie deals. That's why I was so annoyed in a way about the Indiana Fever giving up their draft pick last year. I'm like, you want to have as many players as possible in rookie deals. Because the more players you have, and it's why the Dallas Wings, if the Dallas Wings are smart, they're just going to keep JJ Quinterly. They're going to keep, like, the Liberty have Leo Phoebus on a $70,000 a year contract. But if you're the Dallas Wings, you're going to keep all the players that have 3 more years on 70 to 90K a year, where everyone else is getting 400K. You get those players. You get your Paige Bueckers of the world. You get all these players on these unbelievable deals. Like JJ Quinterly, Zaza James. You just want to keep as many rookies as possible. Honestly, that should be the way to go about it. Is to keep as many of these low contract players as possible, which is why, like, the Mystics are dumbasses for Jade Melbourne. For the Jade Melbourne situation, they're letting Jade Melbourne walk in a restricted free agent. She's one of the best. She's 22 years old. She is one of the best young guards in the league, and they're letting her walk for free. And if they want to keep her, they're now going to have to pay her $500,000 a year instead of holding her on 90K or on 80K. They could have kept her for 80K, and they said nah. And if they want to keep her, it's going to cost them $500,000. So having Kristy Wallace on one of these deals, it means that she's either a very, very cost-effective player on a bench, she's expansion team bait, or she's trade bait. And she can be one of those things, but because of how valuable that contract is, and you've got a player who's an Olympian who will come in and shoot, more than likely, minus the pressure of being on the Fever, but someone is more than likely going to come in and shoot 35 to 45% from 3, be a good 3-point shooter, be a bang average defender. She was not a good defender, but Kristy Wallace just put her on everybody. She was a fine defender. She's coachable, and she plays a role. She is at her value as a 11th player. She is fantastic on a rookie deal, on that deal. She's a fantastic player for that. And I wouldn't care if the Fever keep her. Not to play that many minutes, but she's better than Bree Hall. Like, she would have played, if she stayed with the Indiana Fever, she would have played minutes. She would have actually played minutes for the Indiana Fever. I'm not joking. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.